Driving cars, having coffee, cars having coffee. Very good.
Neighbors, thank you all for coming. This is just a neighborly discussion to discuss the massive construction failure we have just experienced. And there are many options available for us as owners that would not cost us a dime to do the repairs that are going to be necessary. In construction, when there's a disaster like this, it's called a polluted job site. What happens is the liability policies of the engineer, the general contractor, and in this case, our director's liability policies that we pay for, they're each insured for $1 million. With the total, the engineer should be minimum $5 million. The GC should be a minimal $5 million. And we have roughly 18 directors that have been involved in all of these construction failures and fraud through the last recent years. That would bring us another $18 million. So in total, we're looking about $28 million, almost all of the 30 that you see crumbling, the $30 million that's been collected, that's all crumbling, that's going to have to be redone. We have options to have that paid for by the rightful parties, not owners again. Just a little brief example, that's the main thing that I wanted to let people know. We have to call in the liability policies. Owners cannot pay for this. The 8, the 1, and the 2, and part of the 3 were inundated with inches and inches of water. The only way that happens, and there's different reasons, but before we had little leaks, we were told it was because of the wrong screws. Never that the building wasn't painted or the caulking lived its lifespan and that was deteriorated. We were told it was screws. So with that, we were assessed $3.5 million for screws. Well, now we have screws, but we have bigger leaks than before. And that's a fault of the installations. There was no waterproofing to seal the openings to the building, and it's the same issue as before, except now we have chipped windows, scratched windows, windows that whistle in the wind and pour in water, where before most of us didn't have issues. Few people did, but instead of correcting those issues, our directors chose to rip out all the windows in the owners. However, they didn't rip out the most dangerous window, which is the Sky Lounge. The Sky Lounge was should have been the primary window changed if they were that deadly, but it was ignored and it stood like a trooper, even with the wrong screws. So we have a lot of examples here of misdirection, and not to be personal with anybody, people make mistakes, people make errors, and that's why they're insured. It doesn't fall on the owners to pay and pay and pay for people's mistakes. And it's very simple, it's clearly mistakes. This doesn't happen in construction if things are done right. We were fortunate because it was a massive storm that showed us what would have taken probably 10 more years to see the water infiltrating slow, 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 slow. So we got a big dose and we see the leaks. It's a blessing. But now it has to be corrected through the powers that be that caused this new destruction. Not owners, but policies. And that's, you know, my main thing here. And I wanted everyone to know that. Demand that the policies be brought in and pay for the damage that their contractors and the engineer and our people did. It's not a disgrace. They screwed up. They have to admit it, and they have to pay for it, not us. You know, they were also just passed, after having no meetings, they obviously were doing business, and I don't want to get personal with things, but we're continuing down the same path with the next millions. We have no quantities, we have no specifications, we have no plans, we have no drawing, no permits, but there's 1.8 million they're taking. For what? Or they want, whatever. Where is that money going? Since 2013, just quick points and then this meeting's over, there are still violations on the 2013 project, standing violations. They had no permits for the windows that they began in 2013 when they did 10 units. That was totally illegal. That was shut down by the city. And again, in 2015, they started to do the work, and again, there was no permit, and there was a 2-month delay. Okay? We recently, in February, had massive water floods. The floods were begun to be corrected illegally with no permits again. They were putting unrated fire sheetrock where it should have been fire rated. They didn't double over the joints and tape each section. They had seams going right through. There was no fire blocking done, so that was stopped by the city. Okay, now we have the last super that was here decided to do an electrical project, chopping all the outlets on the one stack, again with no permit. Again, the city came and has shut that down, and now people in the one stack have all chopped concrete around the electrical outlets with this storm water and salt water all going into the piping. Okay, we have numerous apartments in this building that have been remodeled by a majority of board members with no permits. Okay, there's no permits, which makes them illegal and a fire hazard to all of us living here. Okay, we have 3 consecutive assessments unfinished. None of them are signed off. 3 consecutive assessments. And we were told these windows would be certified. Nobody has seen a certification. If they are certified, that further indemnifies the engineer for his liability for the way they're leaking. So either they are certified or they're not. However it is, the engineer was charged with inspecting and protecting our money, and we have massive failure. And that's about the end of the meeting, other than to say that we have a recall started. Anybody would like to sign or tell your neighbors, there will be an attorney handling the beginning to end of it once we have the signatures. And we're looking to recall 3 because we have an election of 4 coming up in January. So with 3 fresh faces, we will be sure that this disaster is paid for by the people responsible and not homeowners. There's liability policies that have to be called in. And that's the end of the meeting. Thank you all.
Can I ask you, why are you blaming the board when maybe it's the contractor who's at fault and not the board?
Exactly. Listen, that's exactly right.
But don't blame the board.
We're not blaming them, but if they made a mistake, they should pay.
You know, a board picks a contractor because they think that's what they're going to do.
It's a mistake. It's an error. We pay for errors on their insurance.
Everybody pays for errors.
Really?
When you pay someone, there's a process called
Excuse me. I went to my friend's building and they lost their tower and they lost their AC too. And you know, what are you going to blame the board because something happened?
You're missing the point.
Something else.
You're missing the point. We're talking about the workmanship and the contract. We were told we had, very important word here, forensic envelope report. Do we all know what forensic is?
Yeah.
Okay? We then find, oh, it was a mistake. There's 1.8 million more that no one saw. that forensic report has also a liability policy on it. And that forensic report should be charged the 1.8 million that they missed. You know, that's just business. You know, I've been told in 4 years here that it's nothing personal with me, it's business. Well, this is business that I know. And people don't pay for other people's mistakes by the millions. That's what liability policies cover. And that's a very good question. We're not blaming the board. They're not qualified to do what they're doing. It's not a blame game. They're not qualified.
But there's no board in Florida who are trained to be board members, and I've seen it a couple.
Okay, that's why there's the insurance for their errors and omissions. That's what it's all about. It's not personal. It's not because I don't like this guy, I don't like that guy. It has nothing to do with it. I paid, since I'm here, in 4 years, I've paid $38,000 with this new assessment. You paid, yeah, and I paid when I purchased, for your purchase. Now, that brings our monthly, just so you know, and I don't mean to be speaking down to you.
You are speaking down to me.
Okay, well, I'll speak up to you. How's this? So that brings our monthly from 630, 792 monthly for assessments. Our total is $1,422 a month in 4 years. $1,422, you can live anywhere you choose here. This is not a bargain. We're getting ripped off. The place is filthy. There's been no improvements in 4 years that I'm here. 4 years ago, the place was gorgeous. Look, you enjoy the pool. How long have you been looking at that ripped awning? With the millions they've wasted, they couldn't give a new awning? That's disgusting. Come on, let's be real. It's poor management and they're not qualified. And that's the bottom line. It's facts, it's numbers. Millions. Look at the garage. They want $300,000 for it in this new assessment. What is it paying for? Where's the descriptions? What are we getting? We got all the hangers in the garage, thanks to Mr. Miller, through his years of in-house business, are rusting.
Please,
Example, well,
you can
he's...
do whatever you want. Don't harass people's names.
Listen, do you see the rusted brackets? Those were switched. You paid for stainless. I wasn't here, you paid. I paid when I bought. You paid for stainless, and he gave you galvanized. I won't say his name no more. But you got galvanized. You know what happens to galvanized? It rusts and it snaps, and you'll be doing them again. Okay, no names mentioned, but facts are facts. All the copper is stripped out, all the cast iron is stripped out. We got cheap PVC, not even Schedule 80. We got Schedule 40, which is low pressure, blowing out, ruining people's apartments, ruining the building. And then now he wants to do a new plumbing job, or they want to do a new plumbing job. I saw that, but nothing's itemized in the next millions. Not how many feet of copper, 3/4 fittings, no unit pricing, nothing. So that's all I want to inform people, because construction is my specialty. And I can tell anybody whatever they need to know, and that's the way it is. I have 46 years of my life in construction, all types. And thank you, neighbors. A word to the wise is sufficient. So that's it. Thank you.
How do we get the board to file the liability claim?
What's the next step in this process?
Well, we're going to get some more signatures. We're going to send a letter demanding they call in the liability policies, and we'll take it from there.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, that's the course we're going to take.